Alrighty, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Alright, we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be going through basics and C++. Last stream I went through basics and C++ as well, but I didn't get a quick grasp of it, a good hold of it, because the stream wasn't that long, and off stream I don't have time to code. That said, I'm going to be working on basics again, so let's go ahead and go to my gameplay screen. Okay, and then let's say I'm live exclamation, and today I want to practice everything we did yesterday dot. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me check if I'm audible. Okay, there we go. Alright, good, you're back awake. Listen carefully, because today is a trial by fire. Yesterday you touched while loops, for loops, nested loops, conditionals, inside loops, printing patterns, vectors, the vector functions, pushback, erase, insert, reversing a vector. Today we test whether you really understand or if you're just lucky. Here's the first warm-up challenge, stream proof. Ask the user for 5 numbers, store them in a vector, print them in the order entered. Print them in reverse order, use the same block of code we studied, then print only the even numbers from the vector. Okay, this combines input printing, reverse loop, and conditionals. Alright, let me get sensei/chat GPT here real quick. Alright, perfect. And guys, this was my code from last stream. Yeah, I did not have time to whatchamacallit, change the code or anything, or code anymore. So let me just go ahead and delete everything. And let's start off by including IO stream. So I'm going to include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. Okay, I won't be using vectors for now, or do I need to use vectors? Ask the user to store 5 numbers, to enter 5 numbers and store them in a vector. Okay, we will need a vector that only consists of integers. So let me go ahead and create a standard vector with a pair of ankle braces. So my vector is only going to be consisting of integers. My vector is going to be called numbers. Okay, and guys, I almost forgot one very important thing. Let's go ahead and copy this. To use vectors, I gotta start off by including a pair of ankle braces, and then vector. I gotta include vector to use vector. And then let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. Go with a pair of curly braces, maybe a bunch of spaces, and now paste that. Okay, so I created a standard vector which is called integers that consists of numbers. Okay, since I got to ask the user to enter 5 numbers that goes in the vector, I might create another variable called integer of count, which equals to 5. There we go. Okay, honestly, yeah, I think equals to 5 should make sense. And then let's go ahead and write a while loop. So I'll go with a while loop. So while a pair of parentheses, while my count variable is either, let's say, less than or equal to 0, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like enter a number. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. Now, since I am going to be getting a user input as well, so I got to go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I do need a variable name, so let's go ahead and add create another variable. I could create something like, let's see, maybe maybe inside of while loop, I'll go with an integer of number. Okay, there we go. And then my input is going to be my number variable. Okay, there we go. With that said, after doing that, I will do something else. Let's see. Let me go ahead and push my number inside of my vector. So I could do something like my numbers is vector dot the push underscore back function. I want to push back something inside of my vector. I want to push back my number. My number is going to be the user input that I collect from my data. From my user. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and decrease my count by 1 every single iteration. Alright, perfect. So that asks the user to enter a number 5 times and stores that number inside of our vector/container. The next step says print them in order print them in the order entered. Okay. Print them in reverse order, use the same block of code we studied, then print only the even numbers from the vector. Okay, so first let's print the regular vector. To print the regular vector, let's see, I'll go outside the while loop and then add a for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every integer of num in my vector of numbers, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. I want to insert my num, which is going to be separated by a space. So another insertion operator of an empty space. Honestly, might go with a comma and then space. Or I'll just go with a regular space. Okay, perfect. I will end that with a semicolon. This prints the whatchamacallit. This prints the I forgot what's it called. Every element inside of the vector individually. That said, let's go with a standard console output with another insertion operator of a standard end line. This ends my line and gives me a new line. With that said, I gotta print them in a reverse order as well. So I gotta print my vector in reverse order. Okay, I might remember how to do this. I did not practice, guys. Okay, so I'll go with a for loop. Let's say for every integer of index, which equals to, let's say, I don't know, 1. Okay, and then I'll check something. I'll go with a semicolon and then check if my I is either less than or equal to 5. If my I is either less than or equal to 5, which it currently is less than equal to 5, I'll go with my I++. That increases my I by 1. Okay, and then let's see. Let me go with a pair of curly braces and then add something. So I could go with something like another for loop. So this is actually I'm not creating like a triangle, so I won't need nested for loops. Okay, I could just go with a standard console output. Okay, let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of my numbers at index of I. That is going to be the first number in my my index of numbers. I could change that to 0, honestly. There we go. Okay, this is going to be index 0. I print the index 0. Do I want to increase it by 1? I don't think I want to increase it. Okay, guys, I might have forgotten this part. Might have to ask that to Sensei. Okay, I'll just go with a semicolon here, then add a comment that says, forgot how to reverse. Sensei. Okay, I forgot how to reverse. With that said, let's print. I'm moving on to the next instruction that says print only the even numbers from the vector. So let's print only the even numbers. To find the even number, I could go with modulus. So, I mean a for loop. So I'll go with the same thing. So for every integer of number in my vector of numbers, okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. I'll add a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my num modulus 2 equals to 0, if my number is even, I'm going to be printing numbers. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my num. With another insertion operator, that is going to be an empty space. Okay, outside my for loop, I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me a new line. I will add that here as well. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. That said, let me go ahead and return 0. Okay, that should probably be pretty much it. Let me go ahead and hit Ctrl S to save the code. Do I want to add a new line after every this thing? I could go with an insertion operator of, let's say, I think this should be good. Let's go ahead and run the command and see what happens. Howdy, monster. I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let's see. Is it like just me or is it like loading? Oh, nothing loaded. Okay, let's see. Why could it be that nothing loaded? It could be if my number, while my number is less than or equal to 0. 5 is not less than nor equal to 0, so I gotta change this to greater than. Okay, now let me hit Ctrl S to save the code, and if I run the command, enter a number, I'll go with 12, I'll go with 6, I'll go with 5, I'll go with 8, I'll go with 10, and like 13. Okay, so this is 12, 6, 5, 8, 10, 13. Okay, that is printed in orders. These are the even numbers. That is just something random. Okay, because I forgot how to print them in reverse order. That said, I could go with an empty space. There we go. Okay, let's go with a Control C, copy that, get Sensei / ChatGPT here. Guys, I do want to blow my nose because it's like real hot here. Okay, let's paste it, go with Shift Enter. Let's say I forgot how to reverse a block of code. ... Let me just... Okay, you fool, did this... did yesterday's... Guys, did Sensei violate the laws? Okay, I should make Sensei less aggressive. Vivek, look at you forgetting the block we bled over yesterday. Were you sleeping on stream or what? You tried to reverse with this. For every integer, this is just normal loop again, that's pathetic. The correct loop is for every integer, oh, numbers.size minus 1, I forgot this part. Okay, for every integer that equals to my numbers.size, my vectors is size minus 1. While my I is less than or equal to 0, I decrease my I by 1. I go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert my numbers at index of I. Okay. Key things to remember. Numbers.size gives you the number of elements in the vector. Subtract 1 because the vector indices start at 0. Use I minus minus so it counts backwards. Okay, now fix our code. I want to see that reverse loop back to the... Okay. Alright guys, I was a bit confused. I think I understand this now. Okay, let me just delete this part. There we go. And maybe even this part. Okay, let's go with for every integer of I. Guys, no way the stream's gonna start lagging again. Bro, I'm 10 years old and making short film in UN5. That honestly sounds pretty good. Good job. Okay, I'll go with for every integer of I which equals to my numbers as vector dot the size function. Okay, my size function minus 1. I'm gonna check something. While my I is either less than or equal to 0, which it currently is, while my I is either less than or equal to 0, okay, instead of comma, I should go with a semicolon here. Then another semicolon here. I'll decrease my I by 1. Okay, let's see. So my current I is not less than 0 because my numbers.size is going to be 5 elements. I subtract that by 1. Okay, keep decreasing. Alright, perfect. Next up, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my numbers as vector at index of I. Okay, with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. Alright, that should work. Let's go with the Control S to save the code and run the command. Okay, enter a number. I'll go with something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't see the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I see 2, 4, 6. I went with a standard console output of my numbers at index of I. I'm pretty sure this is what I have to do. While my number is less than or equal to 0, I do this. My numbers is not less than 0. I think I should go with greater than. While my I is either greater than or equal to 0. Okay, my numbers is greater than 0 now. Let's go with the Control S real quick. Okay, now let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the Control A, Control C, copy that. Is this supposed to be rage bait? Rage bait? Guys, I'm just trying to learn C++. Honestly, I do need to move on to mini projects and all that stuff because I feel this is actually the basic, but I feel if I move on without actually mastering the basics, then I might actually need to come back and learn. Sounds like instead of returning back and learning the basics, might as well make my basics strong and then go to mini projects. That said, yes, that's what I wanted to see, Vivek. Now you're using the true reverse loop like a warrior who learned from his wounds yesterday. But you still slipped a little. Look closely. Integer count 5. While my count is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, that actually asks the user for 6 numbers, not 5. Okay, because 0 is a number itself. Because you start at 5 and go down to 0, that's 6 iterations. Fix. Enter integer count equals to 0 while count is less than 5. Or keep the current setup to start at 4. Okay. Aside from that, the rest is solid. Okay, do you want to do a harder version next? Honestly, yes, Sensei. Good, yes, Sensei. And guys, if I feel a little less energetic, it is because I just came from college. It was really hot outside. Okay, good. Then brace yourself awake. Here's your next trial. Ask the user for 10 numbers and store them in a vector. Print the whole vector normally. Print the vector in reverse order. Okay. Honestly, I want to go with strings. I keep doing vectors. Let me just say, Sensei, can I get a few questions where I need to use strings. We've been doing integers for so long, dot dot dot. I also want to work with double/floats. Instead of copy initialization, is that like an, uh, instead of copy initialization? I don't think I understand. Ah, finally Vivek wants to spice things up. Good, because a true warrior doesn't just fight with ints, you need to master strings, word names, text, and doubles, decimal precision. I'll give you a mixed loop that's still using loops, still using vectors, but now with strings and doubles. Okay, string trials. Ask the user for 5 words, store in a vector of standard string. Okay, print them in a reverse order. Ask the user for their full name, standard string name. Okay, semicolon get line. I've honestly never heard of the get line function. Okay, then ask how many characters are in it, excluding spaces. Okay, let me just copy this part real quick. Do Control C. Oh, this sounds fun. Ask the user for 5 decimal numbers, store in a vector of doubles, then print their average. Ask the user for the prices of 3 items, doubles, calculate and print the total with 10% tax added. Create a program using where the user enters weight, kilograms, and height, is that meters, as doubles, then calculate the BMI using formula. Honestly, I've never heard of BMI. Let me paste that and say, I've never heard of the get line function, dot dot dot. And also, can we do like one question at a time? Okay, there we go. Good, one strike at a time. You don't swing 10 blades at once. You master one cut until it's deadly. Now listen carefully. Get line, standard console input name. Oh, okay. Is this like a short form for like adding standard console input with an extraction operator? It's just a function that lets you grab the entire line of text, including spaces. If you use standard console input with an extraction operator of name, it only takes one word. It stops at space. Oh, I see. Input Vivek universe. Guys, it is Viv universe. Standard console input with an extraction operator, Vivek only. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Get line standard console input name. Okay, whole line. Your first string challenge, ask the user for their full name using the getLine function, then count and print how many characters it has, excluding spaces. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see. Okay, let me get some ChatGPT there. Hello, Vivek. How are you doing, Robert? I appreciate you joining the stream. A great resource and will teach you the fundamentals and best practice. I using brace initialization over copy initialization. Oh, I see. Okay, let me start off by deleting the whole code and then including IO stream. So let me include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. Okay, and then let me go ahead and include vector as well. Guys, I feel my stream is going to start lagging again. Okay, let's go with vector. I can't wait to get the new PC because then my stream won't lag because I think my mini PC CPU is not strong enough for OBS. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay, so ask the user for their full name using the getLine function, then count and print how many characters it has, excluding spaces. Okay, so let's go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. Okay, guys, there comes the lag. Okay, I think the lag is actually good now. Okay, and then I'll go with a bunch of spaces, and then let's go ahead and add a standard vector which only consists of standard string, so std string. Okay, my vector is going to be called words. There we go. Okay, I won't be adding any words because I will be asking the user for words. So that asks the user for their full name using getLine. Okay, so firstly, I could go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like enter your full name. There we go, enter your full name. Okay, I will end that with a semicolon, and then instead of a standard console input, I'm going to be going with a getLine function. Is this how we use the getLine? Or did it have to be something else? I might just look at the reference real quick. Okay, so it is just getLine, and then I go with standard console input with my name variable. Okay, so I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I don't think we need extraction operator, did we? Okay, we did need. Okay, so standard console input with an extraction operator of my name variable. I don't have a name variable yet, so let's create one. I'll go with a standard string variable. This variable is going to be called name. Honestly, I might go with full name, so let's go with full name. There we go. Then I'll end that. Let me go ahead and add full name here as well. Phil. Full name. Okay, perfect. I will be ending that with a semicolon as well. Although, why can't I use my getLine function? Did I spell it wrong? It's getLine standard console input name. Okay, so we didn't need an extraction operator. There we go. Okay, that's how it works. Alright, I think I see, guys. Okay, next up. This was basically that we needed. And then count and print how many characters it has excluding spaces. How many characters it has excluding spaces. So your name has 12 characters. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I gotta count every individual character. I honestly don't know how to do that. Although, if I were to hit a Control S to save the code and run the command, just curious, can the whole name go? With something like Viv Universe. Okay, it does work. Let's go to Control C, copy that, get ChatGPT here. Let me paste it, go with Shift Enter, so let's say I actually instead I'll just go with I honestly don't know how to count individual spaces ... I can count the number of elements in a vector though. Okay, I don't think that was valid to with this thing. Okay, good, you've started the strike, but you haven't finished the kill. Listen, your full name is a single string, not a vector. To count characters, ignoring spaces, you must loop through each character in that string. Okay, in C++, a standard string behaves like a kind of a vector of characters. So you can do this for every character C. Okay, so instead of going with for every integer or for every standard string, I can go with characters. Okay, in my vector or in my variable of full name. Okay, that's actually genius. If C is not equal to space, count it. Okay, instructions: add a new counter variable, start at 0, loop through every character in full name variable with a for loop that's for every character of C in my full names is variable, not vector. Okay, if the character is not a space, if C is not equal to an empty space, increase the counter after the loop, print the counter. Okay, I see. Okay, that actually makes sense. Oops, I got it in. Okay, alright, so this is where I ask for full name. And then let's go ahead and create a counter variable right here. So I could go with an integer variable of count. I'll set that equal to, let's say, 0. Okay. And then let me go ahead and let's see, what else do I want to add? Let's add a for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every character of C in my variable of full name. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then let's do something. Okay, so this iterates over every single character. I'll go with the if statement. If a pair of parentheses. So if my C is not equal to an empty space, okay, I'll do something. Go to a pair of curly braces is not equal to. Is that how we type it? If my C is not equal to an empty space? Isn't there like an error stuff like Python where it shows like which error we have? Okay, maybe I change this to single quotes. I don't think that should make a big difference. How does single quotes make a big difference from the... Oh, okay, I think... Oh, okay. I remember learning this when I was learning the basics. So, double quotes are for strings, single quotes are for characters. Since I am using characters, single quotes works. Okay, with that said, if that happens, I'll increase my count variable by 1. Okay, and then after my for loop, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Alright, perfect. Next up, let's add another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like, I could actually add this inside my if statement, inside my for loop. Let's add it inside my for loop. Let me copy that. So under my if statement, let me go ahead and paste the standard console output. Let's say something like or like your name. Your name has dash letters. So your name has, I'll go with a pair of actually an insertion operator. Maybe I go with a space here. Okay. Your name has, this is going to be my C variable. That is going to be how long my name is. With another insertion operator which starts with a space. Let's go with characters. Exclamation with another insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. Since that ends my line, I honestly might not need a line here. So instead, let's just go ahead and return 0. Okay, perfect. If I were to hit Ctrl S to save the command and run the code, okay, enter your full name. I'll go with something like Viv Universe. Oh my gosh. Hold up, guys. This might have to go outside the for loop. But can I have access to my C out? Oh, no. Hold up, guys. My bad. I should have gotten my counter, not my C variable there. So before my return, let me go ahead and paste that. Instead of going with my C, let's go with my count variable that always increases by 1. Now if I were to go with the Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, enter a full name, let's go with something like With Universe. If I run the command, your name has 11 characters. What if I went with something like, let's see, with space universe. 11 characters, perfect. Okay, let's go with the Control A, Control C. This actually makes so much sense. I'm actually glad I got this question. Okay, let's paste it, go with Shift Enter. Amazing live. I appreciate you, Cisco. That means a lot. How are you, Raven? I appreciate you joining the stream. Yes, that's it, Vivek. You just unlocked the power of string traversal. Look at what you did. You took input with the getLine function. You looped over each character. You checked for spaces and skipped them. You counted them properly and gave clean output. That is textbook mastery. No wasted strokes. The system should see you went from I don't know to I just built a filtering character counter in a single push. That's growth curve in real time. Now tell me, Warrior, do you want to stay in the realm of string slicing challenges, reverse, search, and count, or do you want to switch blades to double calculations? Let me say, I do need more practice before we move on. ... I'm enjoying so much. I appreciate you, Cisco. Okay, good. You finally speak like a true apprentice. A weapon is useless if you drop it after the first swing. Strings need more practice until your head moves without thinking. Alright, listen, we'll go one problem at a time, broken code style, until you can tear strings apart with your eye closed. Here's your next battlefield. I didn't need a broken code. Okay, let's say I didn't need a broken code. Can I get a instructional based question mark? Okay, let's see. Okay, here's the instructional question. So ask the user for a word and store it in a standard string. Print the word backwards. Python 2 NOHTYP. Okay, I want to go with like longer codes. Okay, let's go with the control and delete everything. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces IO stream, and then honestly, I don't think I need vectors, right? So let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. I'll go with a bunch of spaces, and then let's see. Firstly, I'll have to ask the user for a word. So since my word is going to be a string, I'll go with standard string of words. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like enter a word. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator. So actually, I'll just end that with an empty space. Let's go with a standard console input now with an extraction operator. I want to extract my word variable. Let me change that to word for it to be like plural. Actually, singular. There we go. Okay, so that's my word. Next up, let's iterate over my word to flip it backwards. So I'll go with a for loop. So for every standard string of, let's say, honestly, should I go with for every standard string of word? I do want to reverse my word. Okay, so I do know how to reverse a vector. Is it the same with words? So instead of string, I could go with for every character of C, or for W, in my words is variable. Okay, for every character of W in my words is variable, I want to do something. Okay, let's see. Honestly, I think, should I go with something like this? If my word, I can't go with words.size here, can I? I don't think I can. Okay, I'll check something. I'll go here and do something like, if my word is either less than or equal to 1. I don't think it can be. Yes, I think char is better. Yeah, honestly. Okay, so if my word is less than or equal to 1, I don't think I can use that because... Huh. Okay, what would I need to do if I have to reverse a string? So, to reverse a vector, I first get like for every integer of in my vector, and then I check if my vector size, so first I subtract my vector size by 1. I cannot get the size of my words. I get every individual word. Could I go with like word minus 1? I don't think I can do that. Okay, let's just try. Let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something. I want to print my word. Okay, this is going to print my word as it is actually. Okay, I'll just go with my word. Okay, then let me go ahead and return 0 real quick. There we go. Then that with a semicolon. If I were to hit Control S and run the command, this is going to be my single word. So I'll go with something like, I don't know, tree. Okay, this gives tree. I could add a space here so that this thing's it with a space. Let me go ahead and do Control S to save the code and run the command again. If I go with tree now, okay, it's tree. What would I want to do to reverse it? So I need the first character of the ending of my word. So like that's this. There are like 4 and actually there are 3 indexes here. So I want my index 3 first. How do I get index 3? Do I go with something like words at index of 3? Does that work? Okay, can't do that. My W at index of 3. Because I actually might have to ask this because I've like never reversed a word. Okay, let's go with the Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's say slash ChatGPT here. Let me paste it, go with Shift Enter, let's say I know how to reverse a vector, but I've honestly never reversed a variable or a string. ... Can you help me with this? You can start iterating from the last character to the beginning. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out how to iterate from the last character. Oh, there's a length function like Python. I didn't know about the length function. Okay, you're using a range-based for loop which always goes from the first character to the last character. That's why it prints in normal order. Unlike a vector, a string is also... Is that pronounced indexable? So we can loop backwards using indices. Here's the technique. For every integer of I, okay, which equals to my word dot the length function, there we go, that makes much sense, minus 1. While my I is either greater than or equal to 0, I decrease my I by 1. So that gives me the last, the last character of my word. Okay, breakdown, Okay, I see. Guys, I didn't know about the length function. Do I know about white string, a W char? About W string? White string. Honestly, I've never heard of that. Okay, so for every... Okay, excuse me guys. For every integer of I in my, let's say, words variable dot the length function, okay, minus 1. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon and then check something. This is going to be word. Okay, now let me go ahead and check something. What is... Can't I use it for every I? for every integer of I, okay, which equals to my word dot length minus 1. There we go. Okay, I'll check something else. If my I variable is either greater than or equal to 0, which it currently is, I'll decrease my I by 1. So I'll go with I minus minus. Okay, and then inside my standard console output, I'll go with my words at index of I. Okay, that is not going to be separated by a space, so I'll remove this. Okay, this is going to be my word variable. Alright, perfect. Let's go with the control S to save the code and run the command. Enter a word. Let's go with something like tree. Okay, there we go. I want to try Python as well. Actually, let's go with C. I don't know, I'll go with Python. Because I don't know how would I type C++. There we go. Okay, let's go with the control A, control C. Guys, I do need more practice with this concept. Okay, let's paste it, but this time I'll say something. Let me say something like, let's say, dot. Can we do more questions that includes this topic? That said, can it also include the vector? Can it also include the vector functions and reverse vectors, reverse strings, question mark. Okay, amazing. I appreciate you, Cisco. Okay, absolutely, Vivek. This is perfect. We're going to smash strings and vectors into one training ground. Here's the instructional challenge for the stream. Task: ask the user to enter 5 words and store them in a vector. Okay. 5 strings. Print the vector in the order they were entered. Then print the words in reverse order for each word. Also print the word reversed. Okay, original order, reverse words. Okay, that sounds pretty fun. Okay, let's get something here. Guys, I wish the stream doesn't start lagging, and it feels like the stream is gonna start lagging. Okay, there. Okay, it's just gonna like lag for, I guess, a minute or something. Okay, with that said, let's read the first instruction. The first instruction says, ask the user to enter 5 words and store them in a standard vector. So let me start off by going with hashtag include a pair of ankle braces IO stream. Maybe searching in GPT. It also CPP concept used nowadays a lot. Obvious on you. Maybe searching on chat GPT. It also... Oh, I see. Yes, a little lag. Honestly, yeah, it's been lagging for a while. I think it's because my mini PC CPU can handle OBS. Before I used to like stream on multiple platforms. Now I just stream on YouTube. That said, I am like searching a actual PC. I'm gonna be maybe like filming myself, building it, and then using that. That's when I could like again start multi-streaming. Okay, that said, let me just wait for the lag to go. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, let me start off by including IO stream. Okay, and since I am going to be using vectors as well, let me go ahead and include vector as well. So I'll go with include vector. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. Okay, I feel the streams. Let me check if my if I can do something from OBS. Okay, alright, I think I should go in a bit. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. Maybe go with a bunch of spaces. And then let me start off by firstly ask the user to enter 5 words and store them in a vector. So let me create a standard vector. So a standard vector with a pair of ankle braces, which only consists of standard strings. Okay, my vector is going to be called words. Okay, there we go. Then we'll end that with a semicolon. Next up, let me go ahead and create a specific word as well. So I could go with something like a standard string of, let's say, word. Okay, and I'll end that with a semicolon as well. And then let me add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be inserting something. So I'll say something like enter a word. Okay, do I need to enter a word or sentence? Ask the user to enter 5 words and store them in a standard vector. Okay, so it's a word. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I'm going to be extracting my word variable. Alright, perfect. And then print the words in the order they were entered, then print the words in reversed order. For each word, also print the word reversed. There we go, guys, the lag's gone. Okay, then print the word in reversed order. Okay, for each word, also print the word reversed. Original order, hello Vivek. C++ coding, reverse order. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. So I could get the word. Firstly, print the words in the order they were entered. So enter word one. Okay, so I'm assuming I gotta print them in a new line. So I'm like looking at this. So by web such ChatGPT says print the words in the order they were entered. Do I need to print it in this exact order here? I think this is the output, so I think it should be like this. Or should it just be like this? This could be like the me asking the user. I think I'll go with these orders, the below three ones. Okay, so let's do that. To do that, I could go with something like this: ask the user for words. First, I gotta print it in the original order. So let me iterate over my vector. I'll go with a for loop. Let's say for every. Why don't you use namespace std? It looks better. Honestly, the reason I don't use namespace std is because eventually making big projects, other libraries do have like console output or /c out as well. So that could cause name conflicts. Using standard console output instead, std : is a good practice. Because like I have so many people asking me that question. Okay, so I'll go with next up for every standard string of, let's say, okay, for every standard string of word, okay, or w in my words as vector, okay, for every standard string of word in my words as vector, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like original, was it? What was it saying? Original order. So let's go with original order, okay, and my original order is going to be my w with another insertion operator of an empty space. So my words are going to be separated by a space. Okay, perfect. Outside my for loop, let me go ahead and let's see, add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert a standard end line. Okay, so standard end L. And then next up, let's print it in a reversed order. So to print it in a reversed order, so I gotta print my whole vector in reversed order. Let's go with another for loop. So I'll put for a pair of parentheses. Okay, now for every index, which for every integer of index, for every integer of I, which equals to my words as vector dot the size function. So words dot size. Okay, this gets the size of my vector, how many words are inside of it, -1. This keeps subtracting from our vector. Okay, I'll go with a semicolon and then check for a condition. So if my I is either greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to decrease my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's see. Let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert my words as variable at index of I. Okay, so that is going to be like a reversed order because my I is now counting stuff from the back. Okay, perfect. And then maybe I'll go with another insertion operator of a space. Okay. And then outside my for loop, let me go and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Alright, perfect. That's basically reverse order. And then the third instruction says for each word, also print the word reversed. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky, but it's going to be fun at the same time. I might need to use nested for loops for this. Hi bro, how are you doing, Jay? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's go with for a pair of parentheses. So, I actually think this is going to need a nested for loop. For every word, every standard string of word, std word, okay, in my vector of words, I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's go ahead and for every standard string of word, okay, I'll go with another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Now let me iterate over every single w in my word. Let's go with for every character of C, okay, in w, this is going to be my individual word. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output. So a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, for every character of C. which could which could be equal to my word dot the length function minus 1. Okay, my c variable now equals to my word's length minus 1. I'll add a pair of semicolon. Actually, I'll just add a semicolon, and then I'll check something. If my c is either greater than or equal to 0, I'll add another semicolon and decrease my c by 1. So that's going to reverse my words. It's exactly the same as what I did here, but with words instead of elements. Okay, this is going to be my w at index of c, which is going to be separated. Do I want to separate it by... okay, I think I want to separate it with a space. Yeah, I think I should separate it with a space. I love it. I appreciate you, Stephen. That means a lot. Okay, and guys, ignore me if I can't pronounce you guys' name correctly. I'm awful at pronunciation. That said, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Alright, perfect. Lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Alright, if I were to Control S to save the command and run the code, let's see. So it says enter a word. Let's go with something like, I don't know, tree. Okay, it just asked me for one word. That's because I just asked the user for one word. Since I want to ask the user for 5 words, I could go with a integer variable of count. Okay, I won't set my count to anything. Instead, let me go ahead and copy this part and add a while loop. So let's go with a while loop. While my count variable is either... Okay, let me actually set that equal to 5. Okay, while my count variable is, let's say, less than 5, or should it be greater than? Okay, I could change this to be 0. While my count variable is less than 5, which it currently is, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. You can try Studio locally running OpenAI or ChatGPT. I'm using it, really helpful, unlimited chat, bro. You can try Studio locally running OpenAI. Honestly, I've never heard of it. I actually might try it. Unlimited chat. Honestly, I've never had a problem with chats for using my ChatGPT. I feel like I always have unlimited chats. Even though I talk to ChatGPT/Sensei for hours. Okay, that said, while my count variable is less than 5, I'll do something. I'll paste this. Okay, maybe let me indent that and de-indent that. Okay, I want to do this, and every time this happens, I want to append a word or push a word inside of my vector. So let's go with my words as vector dot the push underscore back function. I want to push back something inside of my vector. Let me go ahead and copy that and maybe get that here. Okay, standard string of word. Okay, and I want to push back my word. Alright, perfect. Next up, let's go with my, let's say count variable. I'm going to be increasing it by 1 every time. Okay, perfect. Let me go with the Control S to save the code. And if I were to run the command, honestly, before I run the command, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, now let me save the code and run the command. It is a LM Studio. I actually might look into that after my stream. Okay, so it says enter a word. Let's go with tree is green. Let's go with blue sky. Okay, so the original one says tree original order. Okay, it says original order. Why does it say tree original order? Okay, so I have original order. Okay, instead, let me just go ahead and remove that. Okay, remove an insertion operator. Go with a Control S to save the code and run the command. Okay, let's type that again. Tree is green, blue sky. Okay, blue sky. Okay, so tree is green. That's the original order. Sky, blue, green. Okay. Okay, there is something messed up in this part. Let's fix the this part. Okay, maybe I should not separate it by empty space. Let's save the code and run the command again. Let me go with something like tree is green, blue sky. Okay. Alright, there is some Honestly, I think it's because I'm not using the getLine function for my word, so it's getting my word as like one sentence inside of my whatchamacallit, vector. Okay, so when I went with a for loop here, I went with for every word. Okay, for every word plus space. Let's try plus space. Plus an empty space. Duh. Okay, can I go with plus empty space? Okay, let's see. For every character. Okay. For every word in my words is element. Word dot length. Okay, actually I might also spot to sensei. Let's go to control C, get sensei slash chat GPT here. Let me go ahead and paste this, go with shift enter and say sensei. I feel like I messed up in the last part where I had to reverse the words. Actually reverse the words. Okay, let's see. I see exactly where you fell into the trap, Vivek. Look at this part of your code. For every standard string W, okay, for every standard string of word and my words as vector, for every character, okay, C, which equals to my word dot length minus 1, C greater than or equal to 0, C minus minus. Okay, the issue, character C is wrong type. Indices in C++ must be integers, not characters, because C is character. It can behave unpredictably when you do C greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Fixed version for every integer of C which equals to my word dot length. Oh, I see. Okay. std colon space, add space between reversed words. Notice use integer C, add space. Okay, I see. That makes sense. Okay, I didn't know about that. Put a space at the end of the main for loop. Okay, so let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of an empty space. Alright, and let me change that to integer. Okay, now if I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's go ahead and say something like tree is green, blue sky. Okay, let's go with blue sky. Okay, tree is green, sky blue is tree. Okay, perfect. Let's go with a Control C, copy that, get some C/GPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this. Okay, let's see. Let me even just hydrate my lips real quick. It's kind of dry. Yes, that's it, Vivek. You fixed the type and added space between reversed words. Now it prints exactly like the example. Original order reversed. This is master level stuff. Vectors plus loop plus string manipulation all at once. Quick bonus thinking. Could you also reverse the words and their letters at the same time? Words and letters. So the entire output is like the original vector completely flipped and each word reversed. Okay, I think I can do that. That shouldn't be that hard. Hey there, how are you doing, Sire? Appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, guys, that cannot be that tough. So, this is my original loop. So, this is my original for loop. Okay. So, instead of adding a standard console output here, I could actually maybe copy this whole loop. Okay, let's add that in a separate line. Okay, maybe under my this loop. Right there. Okay, so for every standard string of word in my vector of words, let's go ahead and delete this and add a nested for loop. Okay, let's go with something like for every integer of, let's say character in my word, okay, in my specific element from my vector, I'll get the length of it. So I'll use the dot length function. So length, for every character in my words is length minus 1. Okay, and then let me check something. If my character is either greater than or equal to 0, okay, am I like messing up somewhere here? For every integer of character in my word, my w.thelength function minus 1. Okay, while my c is greater than or equal to 0, excuse me guys, I'll go with c minus minus. Okay, did I add my semicolons? Pretty sure I did. Okay, length -1 if my C is greater than or equal to for every standard string of W in my words, for every integer, which equals to, there we go. Okay, why not using namespace std? Honestly, because in big projects, eventually when we add like separate libraries, then standard console output is going to be like more readable because other libraries might have console output as well, so it avoids like name clashing. So it's a good practice starting off without using namespace. That's it, there we go. Okay, I'll go with another pair of curly braces and then let's do something now. Let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of my word at index of my character. I'll go with another insertion. Actually, I don't think I need another insertion operator. Okay, I'll just add a semicolon to end off. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what I gotta do. And then outside my for loop, let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of, let's say, an empty space. Okay, perfect. Let me go with a Control S to save the code, and if I want to run the command, okay, let's add a few words. So I'll go with something like tree is green and blue sky. What's up, Web? How you doing? Is your name pronounced as Electra? Guys, I'm real bad at pronunciation. I appreciate you joining this stream. Do you just ask ChatGPT to give you the program? Is that how you're learning C++? Honestly, I asked ChatGPT/Sensei to like give me instruction-based questions, and then I try solving the question. If I don't understand something, I ask Sensei/ChatGPT to help me understand, and then there were questions. Make a convex hull and login time. I've honestly never heard of a convex hull. Okay, there we go. Tree is green. There we go. Okay, let's go with the Control A, Control C. Copy that. Get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste that. Okay, Vivek, I see what you did. Listen, I see what you did, but listen, your last loop is just repeating the same reverse letter of words in the original order, not totally flipped. I was hinting at. Okay, so I gotta first flip my entire vector. Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't read the part where I gotta actually flip the vector. Okay, this makes sense. So first I reverse my vector here, and then I reverse my letters inside of my vector. Okay, let me say, Sensei, I think I understand. Can we do another question? Maybe can the genre be related to a RPG game question mark? I wanted a quick fun question. Okay, let's see. What are you learning? Honestly, I'm learning C++. This is like indented. The C++ for 100A series is like indented inside of my programming for 100A series, where my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general that consists of AI logic in it. Okay, make a segment tree in a log, and then okay, what program are you doing right now? Honestly, I'm just mastering the basics of C++ to get a hang of it. Then eventually, I'm going to start working with mini projects. But first, I do want to like get a grasp of the basic function that I need to know. Oh, now we're talking Vivek. Let's turn this into a RPG style challenge with strings and vectors quest. You're designing a tiny RPG inventory system. Ask the user to enter 5 items into the inventory. Use a vector string. Okay. Print the inventory in order, print the inventory in reverse order, then print each item reversed by letter. Okay. Finally, print the inventory reversed and each item reversed like the ultimate cursed chest. This combines vectors, loop, and string reversals, just like we've been practicing, and it's fun RPG themed. Okay, wanted. Start coding this. What you already know. I want to see your inventory system alive on console. Okay, let me get Sensei/ChatGPT there. Is that, do we pronounce that as Euler or something? Euler tool tree, make a segment tree from it, then do heavy light decomposition on it. Can you do a sack of tree and do a squirt decomposition on it? Guys, that seems way too advanced. I'm a complete beginner. Array, I don't think he's that far up conceptually to do all that. Honestly, yeah, I forgot what day was it. Let me actually check. Okay, guys, it's just my day 12 of learning C++. I started like C++ 12 days ago. Okay, with that said, let's go with the Control A, delete this whole thing. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle brackets, IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include vector as well. So include a pair of ankle brackets, vector. Maybe I'll just blow my nose. Guys, I just came from college. That's the reason I'm like burning up right now. Okay, let's read the first instruction. Ask the player to enter 5 items to their inventory. So let me start off by typecasting my main function to be an integer. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then maybe a bunch of spaces. Now let me go ahead and create a standard vector with a pair of ankle braces, which is only gonna be consisting of standard strings. Bro, can you at least binary search? I know binaries are honestly like zeros and ones, but I've honestly never worked much with it. Okay, I'll set that equal to, actually this is going to be words. Okay, actually it's called items. Okay, so my vector is called items, and then I want to get 5 words. Ask the user to enter 5 items inside their inventory. So I'll create a variable of items, but honestly before that I might create an integer of count variable. Are you journalizing your project, brother? Honestly, yeah, I did like feel it at first. Like when I started my Python for 100-day series, I did like study 60 days or something, about maybe 40 or 60 days on my own without like streaming. Then later I thought it'd be fun if I like stream it. I could like get less distracted as well, and eventually I could like see my progress like 10 years in the future. That's gonna be pretty fun. Okay, so integer count is gonna be set to, let's say, 0. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add a while loop. So while my count variable is greater than or equal to 5, okay, maybe I delete that extra space here. Okay, so while my count variable is either greater than or equal to 5, which is currently equal to 0, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then let me go ahead and do something else. Let's see. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to be inserting something, something like enter a item. Okay, so that enters a item. I'll end that with a semicolon, and then let me go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. This is going to be my item variable that I did not create till now. So let's go ahead and create a standard string of, let's say, item. There we go. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and append my item or push my item back inside of my vector. So I'll go with something like my items as vector dot the push underscore back function. I want to push my item inside of my items as vector. Okay, and I will end that with a semicolon. And every time I do that, I want to increase my count variable by 1. Expecting someone to know at least binary search after 12 days of studying programming is diabolical. Guys, that's what I'm saying. I need some more time. Okay, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. Next up, print the inventory in order. So let's go ahead and print it in order. So to do that, I can iterate over my inventory or my vectors. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Where are you from, bro? Honestly, guys, I used to answer that a lot in my previous streams, but many of you guys did say me not to actually say where I'm from. You guys could like watch my old stream. Like I did say that a lot there, but then people are like, don't dox yourself, don't say it online, because the next thing I know, someone is going to be popping outside my door. Okay, with that said, let's go with the for loop. For every, let's say, standard string, for every standard string of, let's go with item or IT. For every standard string of word, okay, for every standard string of word in my vector of items, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Binary search is not 12-day learning material. Why don't you make a while loop while count not equal to 5, rest of while loop? Honestly, I've never thought of that. While my count is not equal to 5. I could actually do that as well. That would be like honestly the same thing, because my 0 is like not equal to 5. I can try that while my count is not equal to 5. That should honestly work as well. Okay, I'm going to be going with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like, probably just Instu familiar with programming. I used to make segment trees in 12 days. That honestly sounds pretty insane. Now, as a CS grad student, binary search is the advanced part of basics. Oh, I see. Okay, so standard console outputs, I want to print my word with an insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, so that's going to be my regular inventory, my regular vector. And then it says print the inventory in reverse order. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. So standard end line. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add another for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, this time let's go ahead and check something. So I'll go ahead for every integer of index, which equals to my items as vector dot the size function. This gets the size of my vector, how many elements are in it. I'm gonna subtract it by 1. Then I'll go with a semicolon and check something. While my I is either greater than or equal to 0, I'm gonna do something. Let me go ahead and decrease my I by 1. Okay, so I minus minus. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's say, so I want to, okay, let me go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my items as vector at index of I, which is the reversed items. Okay, should I end that with a space? I could honestly go with an insertion operator of an empty space. Alright, perfect. And then outside my for loop, let me go and add a standard console output. Hi, it's me, Lucas. How are you doing, Lucas? I appreciate you joining this stream. For you, this Ray guy, Ega, hi for a nerd. I did Euler. Is that how I pronounce it, like Euler tour on trees, and later discovered it already exists. All this in a month? That actually sounds pretty fun. I should try those things. Nobody cares, Ray. You're most likely to. Okay, so let's go with the standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Don't use not equal to. It's not clearly manifest for indents of while loop. Oh, I see. Okay, let me change that to while my count is either less than or equal to 5. Okay, actually greater than or equal to, I think less than, yeah, less than or equal to 5. Okay, next up, then print each item reversed letter by letter. Okay, print each item reversed letter by letter. So to do that, let's go ahead and add another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Okay, and then let's see. Let me go with for every integer of I, which equals to my honestly, first let me iterate over my vector. So I could go with for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of, let's say, word in my vector of items, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add another for loop. So I'll be using nested for loops. Now, for every, let's say, for every integer of word, okay, in my word, okay, for every individual character of word in my words is variable, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, instead of this, I could go with something like integer word equals to my word dot the length function. I get the length of my word minus 1. Okay, and then let's see. Let me go with a semicolon, and then for every integer word, word dot length minus 1. Let's check if my word is either greater than or equal to 0. And if that does happen, I'll decrease my actually my word by 1. Okay, perfect. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and add a standard console output. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, and then I'll go with my word at index of W. This reverses all my words. I'll end that with a semicolon, and outside of my inner for loop, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, next up, finally print the inventory reversed and each item reversed like the ultimate cursed chest. Okay, so this part, this is going to be the new stuff that I learned. Okay, so let's go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's say for every standard string. So first I gotta reverse my vectors. So to do that, for every standard string, instead I could go with something like for every integer of word. Wait, I want to reverse my vector first, and then I want to reverse each element inside of my vector. So first reverse my vector for every standard string of, let's say, word in my vector of items. Okay, Or I could go with something like, okay, let's change that to integer. For every integer of word which equals to my items dot the size function, I get the size of my vector minus 1. Okay, I add a semicolon and then I check if my word is either greater than or equal to 0. Not gonna lie, great chat community, the firm way I work, people invented harsh by themselves. I just started commenting first time because this array guy. Hey guys, let's not fight. Let's be at this thing. Whatchamacallit? Let's make up. Okay, might be close to Instagram. Okay, so word is greater than or equal to 0. If that happens, I'm going to decrease my word variable by 1. Okay, perfect. What are you doing? Honestly, I'm learning the basics of C++ because I did actually start like a programming for 250 series where my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general that consists of AI logic. And since I am going to be working with games and making games, I thought learning C++ would be helpful. So C++ for 100 days is indented inside of my programming for 258 series. Okay, with that said, let's go with a pair of curly braces and then add another for loop. This is going to be a nested for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, what are you trying to do? Honestly, I'm just learning the basics of C++. One guy literally found a solution to NP hard problem. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, so for every, let's see. I did reverse my vector here. Now I want to reverse every individual word. Okay, for every word in my items.size. Okay, now let's go for every character which equals to my word dot the length function. Okay, minus 1. Okay, for every integer of character in my word dot length. Isn't my word my length yet? I'm pretty sure it should be because oh wait, that is items.size minus 1. Huh, so I reversed my string like I did here. Okay, this is what I do to reverse my string. Okay, my string is reversed. I want to reverse my specific word as well. To do that, I honestly might iterate over my word now. So, okay, let's go with for every standard string. For every standard string. Okay, Vivek, what's this program about? Honestly, I'm trying to get I'm trying to ask the user to like add 5 items inside my vector of items, and then once I do that, I want to firstly print the item in the original order. So I iterated over my vector and printed the original vector, and then I gotta print the reversed vector, means all the elements should be reversed, and then I gotta let's see. And then I gotta print the original vector with only the words reversed. So instead of printing python for Python, I print oy, something like that from backwards. And now lastly, I gotta reverse my whole vector, means all the elements are gonna start from the last, including my words. That is going to be reversed inside as well. So my elements are reversed and my words are reversed, if that made any sense. Okay, so for every standard string of, let's say, W in my items as vector, okay, I'll do something. Okay, I'll go with another for loop. Did we need to go with 3 for loops? I think this is so much. Okay, let's go with my words. So for every integer of, let's say, character, which equals to my word dot length, okay, minus 1. Okay, for every char, integer of char in my w dot length. I'll go with a semicolon and check if my char is either less than or equal to, let's say, actually greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to decrease my I by 1. So actually my char. Okay, honestly, I might read the old explanation for on how to reverse the question. Because guys, I did forget that part. Okay, so okay, what's this? Let me just scroll down. Okay, there we go, guys. This was the part. So, what was I messing up here? Okay, so first I iterated over my vector. First I reversed my actual vector. I did that, and then I went with standard string of w, which equals to words at index of I. Oh, okay. And then I go with for v integer of character, which equals to my word dot length. Okay, minus 1, while my character is greater than or equal to 0, c minus minus. Use anything but char for variable name. Oh, is that why it's not? Is that why it didn't work? Can't we use char? Okay, let me change that to c. For every. Oh, that does make. I was like, no. Why does? I was like wondering why is it not working? Because I'm like, I'm doing everything correct. Okay, this makes more sense. I appreciate you, Spinch. That's how you pronounce your name. You can't use char as a variable name. Okay, that makes so much sense. I was like, I'm sure that I learned this part correctly, and I'm like, why did I mess up? Okay, let's go with another pair of curly braces. Okay, and honestly, I feel like I might not even need this part. Okay, let's go with a standard console output. So standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be, let's say C. Okay, with another insertion operator of an empty space. Alright, perfect. And then outside my inner for loop, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of an empty space. There we go. Let me remove the space from here. Okay, if I would hit control, actually let me go ahead and return 0 real quick. So return 0. Okay, now if I hit control S and save the code. Okay, let's see. Okay, it says enter item. I'll go with something like sword. Okay, and then maybe bow, scythe. Is that how I pronounce it? Scythe. Let's go with a dagger, maybe a kunai. And lastly, a knife. Okay. Oh wait, did I go with... Oh, I went with C. There. Okay, I had to go with the variable C. Okay, almost everything was correct. Let me just delete that real quick and go with the control S again and run the code. I don't think you need the standard string W items. I don't. Okay, let me go ahead and delete that in that case. Before that, let me just copy this part. Now delete this. Then delete that as well. Then paste this. Okay, maybe de-indent it. Okay, although without the W, instead, can I go with my word? Okay, word.length. Okay, for this, I think I know what to do. Let's go with something like a standard string of word equals to my items at index of word. Okay, could I go with WO? Okay, and then I end up with a semicolon for every this thing to my WO.length. There we go. Okay, now let me hit Control S to save the code and run the command. Message restricted. Guys, is this because of the emojis? Yeah, I should fix the emojis, guys. Yeah, guys, I didn't have enough time to like fix my Nightbot because my Nightbot, like, there are more emojis. It just starts to like delete the message out. Okay, guys, let's like, whatchamacallit, let's calm down and be nice with everyone. Okay, let's go with something like sword, bow, shield, scythe. I spelled it wrong. Okay, let's see. Does potion consider to be an item? So I'll go with potion, sword, scythe, bow, kunai, lastly, dagger. Okay, perfect. Why does that print numbers? Is that like... Huh, that's actually a pretty good question. Okay, let's go to Control C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter and say, let's say, why do I see numbers in my console? Okay, let's see. What's the accent, duh? Honestly, I get like that so much. People keep saying that I'm faking my accent, and I'm like, it's impossible to fake accent and you talk for hours. It's probably because I've been risen like with people in my accent. Like, if you're like, whatchamacallit, if you're in front of people like who speak like this, then you eventually learn that, guys. That said, oh no, Vivek, you're not looking at the letters, you're looking at indices. Check this part. for every integer of word which equals to item.size minus 1, word which is greater than or equal to 0, word minus minus, standard string woo equals to items at index of word. For every integer c which equals to woo.length, the inner loop, for every integer c which equals to woo.length minus 1, c greater than or equal to 0. C is just a number 0, 1, 2, dot dot dot. When you go with a standard console output, okay, it prints numbers, not the characters. Oh, okay. Alright, that does make sense because that is an index. I gotta go with my actual word, which is woo, at index of C, so that gets my... Oh, okay, that does make sense. Okay, my bad, guys. Anyway, I gotta go. Have fun, y'all, and I really can... Honestly, I appreciate you joining or sticking through the stream, Spinch. I'll see you in the next stream. Okay, let's go with... Already, mic testing, mic testing. Guys, I just realized my OBS crashed. I can't wait to get the new PC, guys. I don't even know when my OBS starts to crash. Okay, that said, let me check it. Oh, let me go to my main camera or gameplay screen. There we go. Guys, I cannot tell when my OBS crashed until I don't look at my screen and it's like my screen is just loading. Okay, let me say, honestly, yes, let's say, can we do more questions that includes me to use the size function, the size, capacity, all the vector functions, if/else, while loops, for loops, nested loops. Okay, guys, what else am I missing? This is all that I've learned so far. While loops, for loops, nested loops, I don't know, maybe doubles, integers, strings. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's go with dot 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 question mark. Okay, and guys, let me know if my OBS ever crashes, because like next time when I go up and check my stream, I'm just going to be like, I've been talking for hours and like nothing has been recorded. Oh, hell yes, Vivek, you're asking for the ultimate vector plus loop plus type plus conditional challenge. Perfect. I love your energy. This will be like an RPG minigame in C++. One question at a time, fully instructional, so let's do this. Okay, instruction, epic RPG inventory challenge. Okay, there's a long list. So, you're building an RPG inventory system. Follow these steps carefully. First up, create a vector called strings of inventory. Ask the player how many items they want to add using an integer variable. Use a while loop to let the player enter each item and push it into the vector. After adding all items, print the size and capacity of the vector. Print all items in order using a for loop. Okay. Print all items in reverse using a for loop with an index. Okay, it says with an index. Print all items in reverse. Alright. Ask the player to enter the weight double of each item in the inventory using a nested loop. Store it in a vector of doubles. Print all items along with their weights using if, else if, and else clause. If weight is greater than 50, print heavy next to the item. If weight is greater than or equal to 20, print medium. Otherwise, print light. Remove the third item from the inventory and its corresponding weight. Insert a special item at position 2 and assign it a weight. Okay. I see. First, write the initial parts. Step 1 to 5. Do not go to the weights yet. I want to see you solidify vector plus loop plus string mastery first. Once you do that, I'll review and we'll move on to the next loop plus doubles plus conditional part. Okay, so first I just got to do the 5 instructional questions. Alright, let me get Sensei there. That said, let's go to the control A, delete everything. Let me start off by including IO stream. So I'll go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces. IO stream. Did I spell it correct? Okay, next up, let me go ahead and include vector as well. So I'll include vector. It is going to be a lowercase vector. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, a pair of curly braces. Maybe a bunch of spaces. Alright, now it says create a vector of strings called inventory. So I could go with something like a standard vector. So a standard vector with a pair of ankle braces which only consists of standard string. Okay, and this is going to be called inventory. So how do you spell inventory? INVENTORY. There we go. Okay, inventory. And then ask the player how many items they want to add. Use an integer variable. Okay, so let's do that. I'm assuming the way we do that is by firstly creating an integer of count variable. Guys, did my OBS crash again? It's just lagging. I can't wait to get the new PC, guys. Okay, integer of count. Then I go with the standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like enter. How many items do you want to enter, honestly? So let's go with how many items do you want to enter question mark. There we go, guys. The same exact error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Guys, that gets so annoying because I can't even like type properly. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console input. I'm getting tired of bullying you. It's sad. Y'all, man, catch y'all in another stream. I appreciate you sticking through the stream, but we'll catch you in the next stream. And guys, no bullying anybody. Okay, standard console input with an extraction operator. This is going to be my count variable. Okay. Alright, perfect. Next up, let's see. Let's go with a while loop now. So I'll go with while a pair of parentheses. So while something is less than my count. Let's see. So let's imagine. Okay, so I'll go with while my count variable is. Okay, that's going to be less. That's going to be greater than 0. While my count variable is greater than or equal to 0. Guys, the lag is just going to stay for a bit. Okay, while my count variable is greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be saying something like enter a item that you would like to add to your inventory. Standard string, which is going to be called items or item. There we go. Console input of my item. Okay, and then every time a user enters an item, I want to append that inside of my vector of inventory. Excuse me, guys. So I could go with something like my inventory's vector dot the push underscore back function. Hey, blow my nose, guys. Guys, actually burning right now. I mean, I'm like actually pretty hot. Okay, so I want to push back something. Okay, let's push back my item, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and decrease my count variable by 1 every time. So I'll go with count minus minus. Okay, until it doesn't hit 0. Perfect. Alright, next up. Use a while loop to get the player to enter each item. Okay, did that. Ask how many. Okay, after adding all items, print the size and capacity of the vector. Print all items in order using a for each loop. Okay, so let's see. Let me add a semicolon there. And now, since I got my items appended inside, let's go ahead and print the size and capacity of my vector. So I could go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's say for every standard string, there we go, guys. The lag is finally gone. For every standard string of let's say, I don't know, item in my inventory, in my vector of inventory. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then I'll do something. What am I going to do? Let's see. I want to print my item, so I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be size. Okay, the size of my inventory. So the size is going to be my inventory, my vector of inventory dot the size function. Okay, I'll end that with a / new line and a semicolon. And then under that, I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, hold up. I don't think I need to even do all this inside a for loop. Let me copy that. I could actually do that outside a for loop as well. It's honestly going to be the same exact thing. Okay, let me just delete that. And then maybe go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me a new line. Okay, that's my size. And now I want to print my capacity, so I'll go with capacity with an insertion operator of my inventory, my vector dot the capacity function. Okay, I'll add another insertion operator of a standard end line. And instead of going with a new line here, let's go ahead and add a standard end line as well. So, and L. Alright, perfect. And then it says print all items in order using a for loop. So now let's print all items in order. This is where I'll need a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's go with something like for every, I don't know, for every standard string, okay, of item in my inventory. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator of my item with another insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, perfect. And after that, I'll go with another standard console. Actually, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. And lastly, go ahead and return 0. Did I spell return correct? There we go, return 0. Alright, if I want to hit Control S, save the code and run the command, it's going to be asking, how many items do you want to enter? I don't know, maybe I'll go with something like 6 items. Enter an item that you would like to add to your inventory. I want to add, let's say a rope. I don't know, a cake, some, I don't know, maybe coffee, maybe a dagger. Okay, let's go with something like a kunai. Okay, and really important, the next stuff should be something like water. Need to be hydrated, guys. Isn't that 6? Does this keep going? Let's go with something like a sword. Oh, okay, never mind. It doesn't keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it gives 7 items. I'll just go with less than. Okay, while my count variable is greater than 0. Okay, let's go with the Control S again. Now if I run the command, now I shouldn't be able to add 6 items. Okay, I don't know, I want to go with 7 items now. Let's go with something like sword, potion, dagger, kunai, I don't know, cake, some water, maybe some popcorns. Okay, popcorn. There we go. Size is 7, capacity is 8. These are the items inside of my vector. Let's go to Control-C, copy that, get Sensei/ChatGPT here. And guys, that was just up to like my 5th instruction. Sensei did say the other 5th will be after Sensei inspects my first 5. So let's paste it and send it. Huh. Oh, Vivek, this is perfect for the first round. You nailed 1 through 5. The vector looks clean. You correctly created a vector of string to dynamic input with a while loop. Used push_back function. Properly printed the size and capacity. Printed all items using a for loop. Okay. Now, let's take this up a notch. You haven't printed the items in reverse yet. I want you to use... use a for loop with an index to print inventory backwards. Make it look clean with spaces. Okay, so print it backwards now. After that, we'll move on to waits plus nested loops. Okay, let's get Sensei there. Okay, so now I gotta print my inventory backwards. And guys, is the lag back? I hope it's not. Oddly motivating seeing you here every day. I appreciate you, Xenon. Is it pronounced as Xenon or like... I think it's pronounced as Xenon. I appreciate you. Alright, so next up, let's see. Guys, the lag is back. Okay. Let me go there. Maybe go with enter. Okay, let's go with a few spaces. Alright, so next up, let me go ahead and add, let's say, another for loop. So I'll go with for, a pair of parentheses. Okay. Guys, there we go. The error is back on YouTube. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I can't wait for the PC, guys. Okay, so I gotta print everything in reverse. To print everything in reverse, let's go with something like for every integer of I get a separate index which is equal to my inventory is vector. So inventory dot the size function. This gets the size of my inventory slash how many elements are there inside of my inventory. I'll go with -1. Okay, so this is going to be going from the last inventory to my first inventory. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and check something. While my eye... Did my OBS crash? Okay, it didn't. While my eye is greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to do something. Okay, while my eye is greater than or equal to 0, let's decrease my eye by 1. Okay, so it's going to go from my last inventory to the second last to one before that, before that, before that. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. You have to get a new PC, bro. Very relaxing watching your code. Honestly, yeah, I'm searching a PC. I even asked one of my friends to like help me search a PC, and I gotta build it. I can't wait to get a PC, guys. With a standard console output with an insertion operator, this is going to be something like, let's see, my inventory. Okay, my inventory is vector at index of I. Okay, perfect. Let me go with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. And then let me go add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. If I were to hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's see. It says how many items do you want to enter? I don't know, maybe like 5 items. Okay, so the first item could be like a sword, and then shield, maybe some popcorn, some cake, water, There we go. Size is 5, capacity is 8. This is my original string of sword, shield, popcorn, cake, water. This is my reverse string, water, cake, popcorn, shield, sword. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the Control-C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this. And actually, maybe I should drink some water. Kind of dehydrated, guys. Although I did like improve from drinking coffee every single day. I just drank it yesterday, by the way. Okay, boom, Vivek, that's exactly what I wanted. You use the index-based for loop to print in reverse, kept everything clean and readable. There we go, guys. Relax, gone. Maintain the vector logically perfectly. Maintain the vector logic perfectly. Now let's level up. We're going to full RPG inventory style plus stats mode. Here's your next instructional task. Each item in your inventory now has a weight double. Ask the user to input the weight of each item. When they enter it, print all items with their weights. Then print only the item that weigh more than 5. Okay, is that pounds or like kilograms? Print the heaviest item at the end. This will make sure you use vector string, vector double, okay, for loop, while loop, if/else, okay, nested loops if needed, size and capacity. Write it step by step, don't rush. Okay, so I'm assuming I'll like implement this inside of my code that I already have. Okay. That prints size, capacity and everything. Excuse me, guys. So each item in your inventory now has a weight, okay, doubles. So ask the user to input the weight of each item when they enter it. Okay, so since I wanna add each item's weight, I could go with something like inside my while loop, when I say enter an item that you like to enter in your inventory, I could go with another standard console output. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like enter the weight of your item. Okay, enter the weight of your item. Maybe I'll go with a colon here just for readability. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. This is going to be my weight variable. Okay, and under my standard string of item, I'll create a standard string of, let's say, weight. There we go. Actually, this is not going to be a string. This is going to be a double. Okay, double are basically float/floating point numbers or decimal point numbers. There we go. This is going to be weight. Okay, perfect. That's pushed back. Now let's go ahead and create another let's create another vector. So under my vector of inventory, I'll go ahead and create another standard vector which consists of only doubles. This is going to be called my weights. Okay. Did I spell doubles correct? Is that how I spell doubles? It's double. Oh, it's just double. There we go. Okay, and then after I go with inventory.push back my item, just like that. I'll go with my weights. So my weights is vector dot the push underscore back function. There we go, push underscore back. I want to push my weight. Okay, perfect. Alright, and that's pretty much it for my weight stuff and my vector. Okay, print all the items with their weights. Okay, so when I print my item here, so this is the standard console output of my inventory, so I'm assuming this is the reversed. Okay, so that's where I print my inventory reversed. Okay, so this is my regular inventory. I print my items. Now I want to print my weight as well. So I could go with something like okay, I could go with something like my item which weighs with another insertion operator of my weight variable. Okay, I can't do that because I don't have my weight variable. I didn't iterate over it here. Do I need to go with another for loop? Okay, let's try. That's gonna be my item, which weighs. Can't I like iterate over two things in one for loop? Maybe I could go with a nested loop. Okay, I should try nested loops, but then I won't be able to use item, can I? Okay, instead, let me go ahead and create another for loop. So this for loop is gonna be something like for every, let's say double, for every double of weight. Okay, for every double of weight in my vector of weights, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my weights. With I want to add another insertion operator because I want to continue my weights from here. And then I go with a standard console output with a standard end line. Okay, so that is print all items with their weights. I did that for my regular for loop. Now let's do that for my reversed inventory. Okay, so under my for loop, let's go ahead and add another for loop. For a pair of parentheses, let's say for every double, I could go with integer, honestly, it would be the same thing. For every integer of index, which equals to my weight is vector dot the size function. This gets me the size of my vector slash how many elements are in there. I'll go with -1 because I want to start from the end of my element. Okay, I'll go with if my I is either greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be decreasing my I by 1 every single time, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my weights as variable at index of I. Okay, perfect. That actually looks pretty good, honestly. I will do a slight modification here. Standard console output weigh. This is going to be for my flip, right? So I'll go with something like weighs. Did I go with weighs here? I can change that to weighs. It's W-I-G-H-S, right? Guys, did I spell it correct? I think I didn't. I'll just go with weights. How do you spell weighs? Huh. Okay, I don't know. I'll just go with something like weight. There we go, guys. I should actually work on my spellings. You're doing great work, bro. I appreciate you. Is it pronounced as Mohammed? Guys, I'm actually bad with pronunciation. On the other hand, I feel awful if I pronounce names wrong. That said, I go with weighs here, and that is my specific weight. Okay, perfect. print all items with their values, with their weights. I did that. Then print only one item that weighs more than 5 pounds. Print the heaviest item at the end. Okay, so let me go ahead and iterate over my vector again. Honestly, it says print only the item that weighs more than 5 pounds. So I could go with an if statement now. Okay, first let's go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's go with for every double, okay, of weight in my vector of weights. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and now add an if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my weight variable is either greater than, which weighs more than 5 pounds. So if it's greater than 5, howdy, and I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, so if my weight variable is greater than 5, I'll do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add something. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my weight. So let's go with my weight variable. Okay, but maybe not add another insertion operator. Okay, after my honestly, I could go with another insertion operator of a standard end line. Alright, now let me go ahead and iterate over my my inventory as well. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. So for every, let's say, standard string of I don't know, item in my inventory, in my vector of inventories, so a colon inventory, there we go. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's go ahead and add a if condition. Okay, this is a part, this part might be a little confusing because I gotta print my item. This is my specific weight. Do I need to like get the index of my item and then check if my weight at that index is greater than 5 pounds? Okay, let's try that. So firstly, I could go with something like let's go ahead and add for every index of I, which equals to my inventory variable dot the size function. If my inventory size, okay, if my inventory size, so I is my inventory size. I want to start from the first element. I'll go with a semicolon. Howdy, and I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so if my integer of I, inventory dot size, okay, if my I is either greater than or equal to 0, which it is going to be greater than 0, I'm going to do something. Let's go with my I++. I'll increase it by 1. And then inside my for loop, I want to check if my inventory at index of I. Okay, so I could also iterate over my... Okay, let's also iterate over my weights here. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every double of weights in my vector of weights. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then maybe add this if statement here. Let me copy that, delete that from there, maybe delete this whole thing. There we go. Okay, let me add that here. Let me paste it. Maybe delete that. Go back. Go with tab. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I delete that again. There we go. Okay, standard console output should go there. Okay, so if my weight is greater than or equal to 5, instead of just printing my weight, I'm going to be setting... I gotta give my I a value. So my I is basically the index of my weight. Should I get the index? Okay, let's get the index of my weight as well. So I could like remove the whole if statement from here. Okay, so I'll go with for every integer of character in my, let's see, for every integer of character which equals to my I dot size, actually I dot length. This gets the length of my I here. Okay, since I can do that, I might have to go with something like word or standard string of word equals to my inventory at index of I. There we go, that should work. And now instead of going with I'll go with my word. Okay, so for every character in my word dot the length function, okay, I'll go with a semicolon and check something. If my word variable is either greater than or equal to 0, I am getting the index of my word. If it's greater than or equal to 0, can't I do that? Okay, if my word at okay, so if I can get the index of my word, let's see. Guys, my nose is so congested right now. Okay, so if my word is either greater than or equal to 0, let me actually try it real quick. I'll go with a semicolon of I plus plus. Actually, my word plus plus. Okay, so let's see what I'm messing up here. I went with for every standard string. Okay, this is not going to be a string. This is going to be an integer because... No, wait, hold up. How is it going to be an integer if I'm going with my inventory at index of I? At index of I is an integer. In the other hand, my word is a string because it's like a word. It's not a number. So I can use comparison for my number. So let's go ahead and delete that. For every character in my word dot length. Oh, okay, guys, I'm stupid. This should be C. There we go. C is the index, guys. My bad. C is the index. There we go. Okay, I was going with word. Word is the string. C is the index representing each character of my string. There we go. Okay, took my sweet time figuring that out. Okay, with that said, now I have access to my word and my C. All I gotta do is add an if statement now. Actually, before my if statement, what was I gonna do? I gotta check if a variable or a element, an item inside of my inventory's vector weighs more than 5 pounds. If it does, then I want to print my my item and my weight. So I could set my word equal to my C here. Okay, so let's do that. My word variable is going to be equal to my word at index of C. Okay, so hold up, what am I trying to do here? Because this is my word dot length. Do I need to iterate over my weight as well? So before I do this, I might go with a third for loop. Would that make sense? Would it make sense to go with a third for loop? Okay, I wanna check every element here. This checks every single element inside of my vector. Why am I checking every single character of my element? Instead of adding this, I could delete this and go with something like for every integer of I in my weight dot size, my weights is vector dot the size function. Okay, I'll go with something like while my I is greater than or equal to 0, I'll increase my I by 1. Okay, that is my weights is vector. Did I spell it correct? W-E-I-G-H-T-S. Okay, this should be double. Double. Okay, why do I want to go with double? Let's think. So, I go with for every integer of I. Dot size. The dot size function gets me how many elements are inside. Let's see if I spelled it correct. Oh, equals to, there we go. I equals to my weight dot size. Okay, there we go. We're good, guys. Okay, word equals to my inventory at index of I. Let me go with another standard. Okay, I could go with integer, or let's go with double. Double of, I don't know, weight, which equals to my weights is vector at index of I. Okay, so now I have every single element and weight. Now I gotta set each element equal to that weight. So weight, this is an element equals to my word. Okay, let's do that. After doing that, I'll go with my word variable. I'll set that equal to my weight variable. Okay, hold up. Instead, let's go ahead and create another variable. So my this variable could be something like info, because what I'm planning to do is like when a certain variable is called, for example, dagger, I want to get the whichever position, whichever index my dagger is at, I want to get that, and whichever index my weight is at, and if both the indexes are same, I want to get my item and my weight at the same time. So I might need another variable for that. Let's call this something like for every, although I can't do that because like my word is a string, my weight is a double slash a float. Okay, in that case I gotta do it manually. Let's go with an if statement. Okay, I'll go with if a pair of parentheses. Okay, let's see what condition I want to add. If my weight variable is greater than or equal to let's see 5, I just need greater than 5. My weight variable is greater than 5. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let me go ahead and add a standard console output. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert my item, which is going to be something like, honestly before that I could say something like this item, or let's just go with my word variable. This is going to be my item. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator. Okay, with a double quote, let's go with ways. Okay, that's my word. I go with a space. Let's go with weight. There we go. The weight is going to be something like my weight variable. Alright, perfect. And then I end that with a semicolon. Okay, weight is Are you making a game? Howdy Metomas. Is that how you pronounce the name, Metomas? I appreciate you joining the stream. Honestly, I'm not like making a game just yet. I'm learning the basics for now because this is like my day 12 of learning C++. So first I want to master my basics, and then I'm going to be moving on to making mini projects and eventually games as well. That said, let's see, I'm trying to figure out this very, very complicated stuff. It's just complicated for me, guys. You guys have probably already solved these. Okay, so I'm trying to find the link between my word and my weight. Somehow when my word is sent, if my weight is greater than or equal to 5, I want to print my weight. Okay, and then my word. What happens if I go with word at index of weight? My word at index of weight. Huh. Oh, okay, in that case, what happens if I like go with change that to something like C. Okay, if my weight at index of okay, so weight at index of something, if my weight is greater than 5, I go with a standard console output. I want to go with my word at index of C. Okay, and then my weight at index of C. Okay, honestly, my weight is already at index of C. You made a typo in weight. W-E-I-G-H-T. Oh, okay. My bad, guys. I should fix my spellings. There we go. And I don't think that was a typo, guys. I just couldn't spell. Okay, let me fix that. Guys, I should fix my spellings. Did I spell it wrong? W-E-I-G-H-T. Okay, Oh, actually, I spelled wrong almost everywhere. Okay, actually, let me just leave it to the wrong spelling, guys, because I need to like change it from every single place. Okay, word. weights.size, my weights is vector, and then I go with way, which is greater than 5. Okay, I think this is correct. I think we're done here. Okay, and then outside my outer loop, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, print the heaviest item at the end. Okay, so now the final instruction, print the heaviest item at the end. So okay, so now to print the heaviest item, what could I do? How do I print the heaviest item? Okay, okay, honestly, let me just check if this works. If I would hit Control S to save the code and run the command. Okay, let's see. It says, how many items do you want to enter? Let's go with something like 5 items. Add an item. I'll go with something like shield. Okay. Enter the weight of your item. My shield is going to weigh something like 10 pounds. Guys, here comes the lag again. Okay, enter an item that you want to enter. I'll go with something like popcorn. How much do popcorns even weigh? I'll go with something like 3 pounds. You need to change. You need to change your increment variable in the second loop. My increment variable, like increment variable. Honestly, I've heard of incrementation. Oh, okay. So like, I'm pretty sure this is increment variable, like I plus plus. No way, guys. The lag is back. Okay, change the increment. Oh, okay. That. All right, guys. Bye bye. I actually forgot all about that. I appreciate you catching that. Okay. Alright, so I changed all the I's to C's. There we go. Okay, let's go with a Control S to save the code again and run the command. Guys, I hate whenever this lag comes up. It comes like so randomly. Can't wait to get the PC. Okay, let's see if I were to run the code. And maybe wait for the code to... Okay, guys, the code is loading. I gotta have the patience of a turtle. Is that what people call it, a patience of a turtle? Or like a patience of a sloth? There we go. How many items do you want to enter? I'll go with like 2 items. I don't want to make it too big. First is going to be a shield, which weighs something like 10 pounds. And then I'll go with popcorn, which weighs something like 2 pounds. Okay, size 2, capacity 2, shield weighs 102 pounds. Why does it say like 102 pounds? Popcorn weighs 210. Excuse me, guys. Okay, terminate called after throwing an instance of standard length error. Did I get an error? Okay, let's go to Control C, copy that, get sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, I have a few questions too. Let me go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter. Okay, so a few questions. Let me say, sensei, I feel like I messed up from I to C. Honestly, I should have paid attention to that. I did like change that afterwards. I appreciate you catching that. Do we pronounce your name as Nessin? Guys, I don't know how to pronounce names. Is it like Nesentifi? Is that how you pronounce the name? Okay, I feel like I messed up, and then let's see. I have a question too. ... I did have a few questions. Okay, so what are my questions? So the first question could be something like, let's see, when I go with integer I equals inventory.size -1, alright. Okay, so let's ask something. I'll say something like, so when we want to reverse a vector's elements and we use for integer of I, which equals to my, I don't know, maybe numbers dot the size function -1, does that -1 mean I'm going to start counting elements from the end question mark? And the second question is that I actually don't know how to find the heaviest elements in my vector. It's honestly like easy to do it, but I don't know how to sync my inventory vector with my weights vector. With my weights vector, if that made any sense. Dot dot dot. And guys, I have like a bajillion typos. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, Vivek, I see exactly what's happening. Let's break it down before we blow this code up. About numbers.size minus 1. Numbers.size gives you the total number of elements. C++ vectors are 0 indexed, which means the first element is at index 0, the last element is at index -1. Okay, that makes sense. So when you do you start at the last element and count backwards to 0. That's how you reverse a vector. That's how you reverse a vector using a loop. Syncing inventory and weight. You have two separate vectors, one for inventory and one for weights. Index matters. The weight at index I corresponds to the item at index of I. You should never nest a weigh loop inside an inventory loop like you did here, okay? Okay, so for every integer of I which equals to my inventory.size, while my I is greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to be incrementing my I by 1, increasing it by 1. Standard string word, okay. This is wrong because you're mixing indexes. Instead, use the same index for both vectors. For every I which equals to 0, I is less than or equal to my size, okay, I plus plus. If weigh at index of I is greater than 5, standard console output, inventory at index of I, weight is weight at index of I. There we go, that makes so much more sense. Boom, this prints items heavier than 5 while keeping the name and weight in sync. Finding the heaviest item, you need a variable to track the heaviest weight. So I could go with double, a variable called doubles, okay, actually a variable called heaviest, which is a double slash float slash a decimal point number, which equals to weights at index of 0. I go with an integer index which equals to 0. Okay, and then I go with a for loop for every integer of I which equals to 1. And then if my I is less than my weight dot size, okay, I increment my I by 1, I increase it by 1, and then if my weight at index of I is greater than my heaviest variable, which is weight at index of 0, heaviest equals to weight, I index equals to I. Save the index so we can get the item name. Standard console outputs, heaviest item, inventory at index of index, weight, heaviest, which is less than standard, end line. I see. Hello, what are you coding? Like, what type of game? Honestly, for now, I'm just working on the C++ basics. I went through like basics of C++ last stream as well. That said, once my basics are pretty strong, I am going to be going through mini projects. I can't wait to stream that. Use property QA. Is that how I pronounce it, like QA? Use priority, guys. I cannot spell. Use priority QA. Honestly, I've never heard of that. Okay, I do need to practice this part, although I did understand this. Okay, let's try fixing that. So, inside my code, what I spend a long time trying to do this part, let me go ahead and delete that. Okay, instead, I'll go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses. Let's check something. So, for every integer of I which equals to 0, okay, for every integer I which equals to 0, while my I variable is either greater than, should I put greater than? Okay, so first I want to start with index of 0 inside my list, okay? Integer I equals to 0. While my I is either less than or equal to 0. Honestly, let's go with greater than or equal to 0. There we go. I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. This basically gets the index. I'm a JSON modder, although I only know how to mod one game specifically. Honestly, it sounds pretty cool. I do eventually want to learn how to mod and everything as well. Although I don't know what language to learn for that. Because I did want to like learn cybersecurity or eventually be a cybersecurityist, if that's how we call it, or either an AI engineer. I'm still exploring different stuff. Eventually, I will stick to one stuff though. Okay, so for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is either greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to increase my I by 1, and then let's go ahead and do something. I could go with something like a standard actually an if statement. So if my let's say weight variable. Okay, so to get my weights as class, honestly I forgot. So if my weights at index of I, so if my weight at index of I, this is going to be my first element of my weight. Okay, this is going to be my weights as vector, so weights. Okay, is either greater than 5, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. The limitation of JSON is that you can only set values, not to do calculation or anything like that. Oh, I see. I've actually heard a lot of JSON, like even in Python there was like a JSON module, like import JSON. I haven't learned about that, but I should actually start learning on that. Okay, that said, I go with a standard console output. This is going to be, let's say, a string, actually double quotes, which is going to be like, wait. Okay, honestly, I might go with item first. So let's go with my inventory vector at index of I, with an insertion operator of, let's say, an empty space. Then I'll go with another insertion operator. This is going to be my weight. My weight is going to be my weights at index of I. Okay, perfect. Let me end that with a semicolon. Okay, this gives me my weights, and after my for loop, I do go with a standard console output, so that's perfect. Okay, and then the harder part. Now, finding the heaviest item. To do that, first I need to create two variables. The first is going to be a double variable, which is going to be harvest. That is going to be equal to my weights at index of 0. Oh wait, actually, no man, I think I understand what this means. Weights at index of 0, so let's do that. I will be looking at the reference code for this part, so let's go with doubles, which equals to my weights as vector at index of 0. I'll end that with a semicolon. Okay, this is going to be doubles as variable. There we go. Okay, doubles of heaviest. Okay, which equals to weights at index of 0. This is going to be double. Alright, perfect. Next up, I'll go ahead and create an integer of index, which equals to 0 as well. Alright, perfect. Next up, I'm pretty sure I had to create a for loop, so let's go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses. Okay, now what am I checking? I'm checking for the heaviest element, right? So to do that, I could go with something like for every integer of I, which equals to, I want to start with, let's say 0. I want to start with the first element. Okay, I'll go with a semicolon. And then if my I is, okay, wait, hold up. My integer I should not be equal to 0 because I already have, okay, I might look at the reference code now. Okay, for every integer of I which equals to 1, so that is index 1. While my I is less than my weight.size, I increment my I by 1. Okay, I do have a quick question here as well. I'll ask that to say later. Okay, while my I is less than my weight variable dot the size function, this gets the size of my vector. Okay, this is going to be weights dot size. Okay, I'll go with a semicolon and then increment my I by 1. I will be adding a pair of curly braces, and then I got out an if statement to check if my weights at, oh, okay, hold up. Okay, so the reason we actually did this was to get the separate index. So now I gets individual indexes from inside of my vector. Wait, hold up. Actually, I think this was pretty easy. Okay, so if my weights is vector at index of I is either, okay, if my weights is vector at index of I is greater than my heaviest, which is my weights at index of 0. Okay, when I write it, I understand. I think I just need more practice. Okay, so if my weights variable at index of I is greater than my weights variable, okay, My heaviest greater than. Okay, this is gonna be heaviest. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if my weights at index of I is greater than my heaviest, I do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then do something. I'm going to be setting my heaviest variable to be equal to my weights vector. My weights is vector at index of I. Okay, perfect. Ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I just gotta add a standard console output for this, right? Excuse me, guys. Oh, there was one more thing. Save the index so we can get the... Excuse me, guys. So we can get the item name. Okay, so to save the index, I can go with like index equals to I, because I is my specific index. Okay, I will end that with a semicolon as well. And outside my for loop, I could go with a standard console output. So let's go ahead and add a standard console output. Index as well, you can. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. Let's see. Okay, so first I gotta insert heaviest item with another insertion operator of my index. I plus 1. So you're gonna check each item for its weight, and when the item has the highest weight, all the previous one is considered heaviest. That makes sense. Yeah, honestly, I'm just trying to like get the item from inside of my... I have a weights as vector, so whichever like element is greater than all the other elements, I want to display that on the screen. So my heaviest variable is my weights at index of 0. So the first element of my weights is vector, and then I check my heaviest. Actually, my weights at index of I. So if my heaviest variable, or if my weights at index of I, my current index or my current weight, if it's greater than my heaviest, which is my first element, I want to display my first element on the screen. So let's go with something like heaviest item. Okay, my heaviest item with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. This is gonna be my heaviest. So my heaviest variable, okay, at index of index. Okay, my index of index, did I spell index correct? There we go. Okay, so my index is my I. Or should I instead like... And guys, I feel like the lag is back. Okay, honestly, my bad. I shouldn't have gone with heavy. I need to go with my inventory, my vector. Okay, perfect. Guys, the lag is back. This is so annoying. Okay, perfect. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Honestly, before I end that with a semicolon, I could like go with a... Wait, I didn't know we could add insertion operators like this. What up, guys? Insertion operator. Guys, I'm getting that error again. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, with that said, let's see what to add here. I could go with something like my weight is my heaviest variable. Okay, so I could go with something like weight. I didn't know we could do this, guys. Okay, with an insertion variable of my heaviest variable. My heaviest is going to be my current index. Okay, my heaviest index. Inventory at index. Okay. Someone activated the laginator. Honestly, guys, my mini PC CPU, it's not strong enough, guys. I should fix that. Actually, I am like looking for a PC. Once I get the PC, I'm gonna make sure I have a pretty good CPU in that. Like, it gets so hard to write the code, guys. Okay, with that said, let's see. This honestly should be pretty much it. Okay, perfect. If I were to hit Ctrl S, save the code and run the command, heaviest item with an insertion operator of heaviest. Okay, yeah, doesn't that show in the screen? Because I actually wrote that part. Guys, I don't believe at the moment of truth the stream started lagging. I mean, the lag does just stay like for like a minute or so. I guess before I run the command, I'll wait for the lag to end. Hey, I'll drink some water by the time the lag ends, because I want to like show it on stream. Let me check if I can like reduce the lag from my OBS. I don't think that would make any sense. Okay, I hope my OBS doesn't crash though. Okay, I think the lag's gonna get better. Hold up, guys. Okay. I think it's getting better because I don't want to like run the command because this is most likely the last question of the stream because I do have like my college homework. I don't want to end it up in a lag, guys. Okay, I guess I'll just like wait for a bit. I guess there's like a few more seconds left for the lag. Alrighty, mic testing, mic testing. Guys, the lag wasn't over, my OBS crashed. Okay, let's go to my gameplay screen. A good side of this is that now it won't lag anymore. Okay, let's see. I went with a standard console output. Okay. Honestly, let me go ahead and copy that. Add that standard console output right here in my if statement. Okay, there we go. And guys, isn't indenting like important? Like, doesn't it matter? Because I didn't add nothing here. I just went to a new line and printed that. Okay, that actually works as well. Okay, so standard console output, heaviest item. That is if my weight is greater than my heaviest item. If they're equal to, then I'm going to print something else. Okay, let's see. So I go with a standard console item, heaviest items. Okay, so inventory at index of I. Okay, so if weight equals to heaviest item. Honestly, if like both items are heavy, I think I just print like one item out of the two. Okay, I will actually try to figure out like how to print both items next stream because I do have like a lot of college homework, guys. Okay, if I hit Control S to save the code and like run the command, let's see. Guys, before the stream starts lagging again. Okay, how many items do you want to enter? I want to enter 3 items. What is the first item? Let's go with a sword. This is a 23-pound sword, guys, or I don't know, a 50-pound sword. And then I want to add a popcorn, which weighs like 3 pounds. And then let's see, what would you like to add? Maybe a shield. Okay, let's go with a shield. Okay, what's the weight of my item? I'll go with something like, let's go with 7 pounds. I have an idea. What if after finding the heaviest weight, you scanned all items with that weight? So if there's multiple heaviest items, they're all called heaviest. That actually makes sense. I could add a flag. What is this, guys? Guys, what is all this? Honestly, that does sound pretty good. I actually might do that next stream because this stream I do gotta go like ASAP. Guys, what all is this? Okay. It does say that my heaviest item, my sword is my heaviest item. Okay, next up, let's just copy this. Get ChatGPT here. Okay, I do feel like I messed up. Let's paste it, go with Shift Enter and say, I feel like I messed up, ... question mark. Guys, the stream started lagging again, question mark. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, Vivek, I can feel the chaos in this code, but we're gonna tame it. Guys, what is all this lag? Printing way and names here. You loop you're looping. Alrighty, mic testing. Okay, perfect, guys. I think that's how stream works probably. Like whatchamacallit, once my stream starts lagging, I just restart OBS. Okay, let's see where I messed up. Fix, use the same index for both vectors. Okay. What I did, I used 2 different for loops. Reverse print, okay. 2 separate loops, that is correct. Heaviest. Okay, so for getting my heaviest, I go with this for every integer of I which equals to 0. Heaviest item, if you printed the heaviest inside the loop, I gotta print it outside the loop. Okay, weight set index of I is greater than heaviest. Okay, honestly, I do understand what happens here. I will actually go through this next stream because this stream I actually gotta go, guys. Like I have something, I got a homework due by like 5 hours and I gotta complete that. Okay, let's go to my main camera. Alrighty guys, I honestly, this stream did end in a quite disappointment. I usually do complete my entire question before I end the stream. That said, I did not have time at all, guys. Like I just came from college and I started streaming. That said, it's like currently almost 5 o'clock. It's 4:57. I have an assignment due by 11 o'clock, and it is pretty long. So I might have to end the stream here. That said, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, right now I don't multi-stream, but I used to multi-stream. That said, once I get my actual PC and I build it, I will record myself doing that. That said, if once I get that, I will start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and TikTok at the same time. So if you guys do enjoy my content and want to follow me there, make sure to follow me there. Link will be in the description. And also join the Discord server. Link is in the description and in the pinned comments. And well, I'll catch you guys on the next live stream or video. Peace!